G'day! It's Mel Thuris here with another Fearless Singer Daily bite-sized coaching session. Today's actually going to be the last one. I've actually gone over the 10 days. However, I forgot to check and I didn't make a big fanfare of my last one. So I just figured, no, you need to have a hurrah session. And this is today's session. By the way, this isn't going to be the end of me doing lives. I just wanted to, do a good chunk of consecutive days of coaching. And I have to say, without blowing smoke up my ass, well, actually, I'm going to blow a bit of smoke up my ass because I think it's important to celebrate things, even just tiny little things. It's so not in the Australian culture. It's not our way to, celebrate tiny things. And but actually, it does so much for the subconscious mind. Even just tiny little steps towards a goal, you make something out of it. I have a bell that I ring, I find 5 cents on the floor as I'm cleaning. I'm like, ah. And actually, sorry, I'm going a little bit off tangent, but actually the vibrations of the bell is quite, you can feel it in your body. It does raise your vibration. So something to consider. But I want to celebrate the fact that, there was a couple of times I had to sort of reschedule, maybe just 2 times out of the 10 days, but I, obviously fulfilled the 10 sessions. But that's, I'm really proud of myself because I tend to, get really excited about something and then, something will come up and I'll tend to go, yeah, that's a great excuse not to go and do the thing. But yeah, I fought that quite a few times and that's resistance. If you watch, I think it's the last episode or the last session, I spoke about how resistance can manifest and what it feels like and looks like and how it's different to actually, no, I definitely can't do this, there is a difference, and it's worth just inquiring and being curious. So if that is anything, like if you've got a new skill that you're learning, and you go good guns for a good few days, but then you start to go, oh, I don't really want to go and play the piano, or I don't really want to do the singing, or whatever it is. It's good, worth just inquiring and going, okay, this feels a bit, it could be resistance. Resistance is really just our subconscious mind or the ego that wants to keep us in familiar territory. That's all it is, because that's how we're wired. That's part of our survival brain, So a lot of the times that's what we're navigating. It's we tend to create stories around it, and that's not to shame us to say that. That's just something that we do. But it is literally just something very it's hormones, it's our our survival brain, it's all of that at play. And with a little bit of curiosity, we can start to see things for what they are and then make choices from like a different place. Hi, Spoony Joes. Join me on Instagram. So tonight is pretty much a recap. I've already started recapping some of the sessions. So the last 10 days have been really just bite-sized chunks of the different things that I work with here in the studio as a voice teacher, but also as a singer myself. So that is accent method breathing, the primal sounds. These are all hacks into being able to do the certain things that you really want to do. And also they're things that even if you don't identify as a singer, that you can use just to increase your vocal presence, your tonality, also help with that feeling of putting yourself out there, that visibility. And Spoony Joe just asked, is this the last one? Yeah, for a little while. I'm just going to go on a little hiatus for a few days and maybe start back again. I just wanted to prove to myself that I could go live in a consecutive amount of time, but also be helpful at the same time. It wasn't all about me. It was more about you. So So primal sounds been helpful. Accent method breathing. These are all things that have changed my vocal practice with myself, but also with a lot of my clients here at Fearless Singer. The straw technique. Oh my God. It's such a simple tool, but holy shit. It does so much in the way of lots of things. This feeling of forward placement, this feeling of back pressure, this feeling of just when your larynx is sitting tight, just a quick way of getting it to go back to neutral. So you don't feel like, I don't know, you've been sucker punched in the throat. That's a bit extreme. But yeah, so those things. What else did I talk about? EFT. Oh my God. EFT. If anything, out of all these sessions, get on that. That is powerful. Because at the end of the day, yeah, sure, our vocal muscles, our breathing muscles are all part of our singing voice. But actually, it's our brain that is calling the shots. And a lot of the barriers that we experience with different aspects of vocal technique, musicality, if it's the same thing that's happening over and over again and you're getting instructions and all the rest of it, but nothing seems to be shifting, try the EFT, the mindset. So reframing things. Maybe it's that you need to be open. Oh, my brother's phone is charging and it's going off. He's way more popular than me. It's usually just my mother that texts me. Feeling sorry for myself. So yeah, it's your mindset is key in developing your singing and your voice and your career. So please check out the EFT session. So tonight is actually going to be, I'm presenting to you another, I guess, practice, or I guess an idea from the self-development world. And actually it's from the magic world. And look, I'm just gonna be really frank, I'm not really into a lot of, like, I'm kind of curious of the esoteric, but I'm not like all in, you know. Well, to be honest, I'm not like all in on most things. I love science, I love God, I love Eastern philosophy, I love everything, and I like to take bits and pieces and bring it all together. And there's a word for it, and I actually posted a meme about this the other day, and I've just totally forgotten about it. However, I love teachers that come from these different realms, and they speak everybody's language. Because I'm telling you now, I just can't. I just don't really quite jive with the magic esoteric. However, there's one teacher from Carolyn Elliott, who is able to very articulately bring some of these very key and powerful concepts and then putting it into mainstream lexicon. And not too many people can do that, and I think she's amazing. So please, if you have not read the book Existential Kink, please get yourself a copy, and also get it on Audible, because like from a vocal point of view, a vocal study point of view, this woman has got the most incredible voice. I've never been so, like, it's an audiobook that I go back to for comfort, because I just love the sound of her voice. It's quite deep set, but she doesn't sound like Joanne Lumley. She's American. It's just beautiful. So please listen to her. However, the premise of this idea is, well, the teaching behind it is shadow integration. So there's a concept that I guess, and we experience this. I mean, everyone experiences it, but especially as women, we've just learnt to become this, you know, this good girl image. And we've, you know, taken a lot of personality or aspects of our personality that isn't deemed as appropriate or acceptable by society, and we've just repressed the shit out of that. We've gone, nope, don't like that quality about myself, and we push it away. And this work is about going, no, don't push that part of you. Bring that back into your being and love it. Find a way of loving it even more. And usually those parts of our personality are representing different stages of our life, mostly as children, where we've taken on a misunderstanding, whether it's from, we've learnt that from school, from home, just from watching TV, whatever it is. We've taken on this idea of, oh no, that means I am bad, therefore I'm going to push it away. So this work is about bringing it back. Now, how is this helpful as singers? I'm telling you now, this is so helpful for us as interpreters of human beingness. This is what we do as singers. We are storytellers at our core. This is about really connecting powerfully to music. Can you connect powerfully to music, whether it's other people's work or your own work, when you're actually pushing parts of your personality away and deeming it bad? Therefore only representing this sort of one-dimensional aspect of self through song, and how powerful and how affirming it is to be able to connect with all aspects of self and to be able to sing about it. And some of us like to talk about it. I like to have a good old yarn on the stage, put a bloody microphone in front of me, and what it does as singers and musicians, we're telling these stories and we're helping other people feel okay about themselves. So it's like we're giving other people, the audience or our band members, permission to live powerfully and authentically with all aspects of self. So existential kink sort of takes it a little bit further, and I love this because I'm just going to be really brutally honest. I think for a long time I've always kind of, it's just part of my personality. I'm not particularly overtly sexual. I don't talk about it. It's not really, it's not really part of my being. But this concept is that, it's so funny, I've seen a couple of people just like click off. It's like, yeah, talk about sex, boo, boo. But this work is that it's about taking those moments where we feel shit about ourselves. So when they come up, and rather than going, like turning ourselves off and going, I don't like that about myself, actually reframing it to like, I'm really turned on by that. I like the fact that I'm a little bit of a bitch, or, I'm going to get off on the fact that I'm super poor this week, or whatever it is. It's like actually finding and expanding aspects of or opportunities for pleasure. Because our life is a series of being turned on by things that make us happy. So whether it's, out in nature or, being with friends. And then things will come up. Say, for instance, you check your bank balance and you're like, fuck, I'm minus $16. Holy shit. And, and I'm just going to say very upfront that my whole journey with this has been around money, because I would, in the past, would look at that negative 16 and go, you fucking loser. Would absolutely just hammer the shit out of myself and tell myself what a poor excuse of a human I am because I've got minus $16. However, this is about going, okay, well, taking that moment where you're feeling like shit and then actually getting kind of turned on by it. And so therefore we're actually just expanding our range of pleasure. And so I hope I'm representing this information well, because honestly, go to the source of this work, and that's Carolyn Elliott, Existential Kink. But I love this idea of, it's our subconscious mind. It's our wiring to always keep us in the familiar. So if your familiar default is, that I like to beat myself up with certain things. Oh, if you've misspelt something or in a newsletter and you've put it out, and your default is to go, you dumb, whatever it is that you call yourself. That's familiar. Even though it feels awful, that feels familiar. And that's why sometimes we get ourselves kept in this loop of self-loathing, of self-criticism, is because we actually crave it because our subconscious mind feels safe there, because that's our default. So this is really just a way of reconditioning ourselves to go, you know what, I'm going to take this moment to go, damn girl, -16, woo, and really like loving the shit out of yourself in that moment. And then reframing it. And the more that we do that, all we're doing is we're just rewiring the subconscious mind to go, actually, and I can genuinely tell you, and this has been a bit of a life's work up until this point, that I feel like I have successfully reconditioned myself not to feel like a piece of shit when my bank balance is low, because I've been able to successfully separate my sense of self and my sense of worth away from money. And honestly, it is the most liberating thing. I can't even describe to you how freeing that is. So just presenting this work to you. Now, look, you might be thinking, but there's like people with real life trauma, and there's depression. And I'd say to you, yeah, this work is, if you are experiencing depression, I just want to say that you're not on your own. Please reach out for help. This work probably wouldn't be great if you're depressed. This is a work that you do when you're relatively feeling well. With depression, it's treated with counseling, and obviously if it's trauma related, with people that specialize in that. This is the kind of work that you do when you're sort of starting to notice patterns that are recurring over and over and over and over again. And you go, right, okay, I do have a very strong emotional charge to a low bank balance. I do have a severe emotional charge to feeling like, I'm just going to a gig. Maybe like the idea of getting yourself to a gig gives you extreme anxiety. So just looking at those patterns and then going, okay, all right, being curious. There is a part of me that likes being scared about going to a gig. There's part of me that kind of gets off on this low bank balance. And so, and yeah, to go, right, okay, there's a part of me that loves scarcity, and really, rather than going, bad, ooh, go away, yuck, shameful, it's removing the shame and going, oh, okay, I kind of like being poor, or I kind of like being scared about singing. And it seems to be like a recurring thing. And it's then what happens is it just begins to subtly reshift, rewire, and we don't have that extreme response to these things anymore. We start to be able to, have a little bit of freedom around, certain things that used to cause us anxiety. So anyway, this is just really a bite size. This is really just about presenting the work to you. Please get yourself a copy of the book. So Existential Kink by Carolyn Elliott. If you, I would recommend a hard copy, because there's things in it you're like, I just really want to read and underline, because that's so good. But also, she has got the world's most beautiful voice. So please listen to her speak. Honestly, it's dreamy. Anyhow, so I hope that was helpful, and if not, you can tell me about it. Please just put a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. If you're watching this back, please #replay. If you get any drops when listening to this, please, or observations, and you feel comfortable sharing, remembering that this is a space for inspiration, so you'd be inspiring other people, including me. Please leave a comment. And also too, don't forget there are a bloody loads of resources, free resources, and they're not okay, yeah, they're free, but they're bloody good. Resources over at fearlesssinger.com. If you go to fearlesssingerkit.com, get your hands on, there's a course in there that is EFT, so a mini course, so you can learn the framework, and then you can use that as your go-to pattern interrupter. when you want to rewire different beliefs. That goes very well hand in hand with the existential kink work that I'm just talking about. And then also you've got free daily singing exercises. So there's 5 exercises, including like a breathing exercise, which can be doubled up as a nervous system reset exercise. That's free there as well. It's called Free Your Voice. And also a ebook on boundaries, because written by a recovering people pleaser. Who better to write a book on boundaries than someone who has fucking struggled so much with boundaries, but is doing way better now. Yeah, I'm getting there. It's a bloody work in progress. And also too, there's a part of me that really gets off on having 0 boundaries. So still integrating that bit of shadow there. So yeah, get yourself that. It's free, like I just said. If you like group coaching, you want that weekly and monthly accountability, come over to the fearlesssingerschool.com. It's a year commitment. However, you get weekly this, and you get monthly classes as well on different topics, from voice-related issues, technique, as well as musicianship, as well as branding. You name it, it's all there. I shouldn't have done a Macca's run before this. I can feel those fries recurring on me, and that's probably a little bit of TMI. So yeah. Also too, I love talking to you on here. So DM me if you have any questions, or you just want to reach out, or you just want to tell me about yourself. I love that. All right. So anyway, you take care, and then I'll be back with some more lives very soon. And if you are like, actually, I wouldn't mind just staying up to date with some of those lives, come over to fearlesssinger.com. Just sign up to my newsletter, and then that way I can send you a quick email to say when I'm going live next. All right. Lots of love. Ciao.